Part 2. The Return. The village of Greystone Hollow hadn't changed much in 20 years. The same cracked wooden signs, the same leaning fences, the same silence that pressed on your ears when the wind stopped moving. Elias Hale hadn't planned on coming back, not after what happened, but when his mother died, alone, mysteriously, in the old house at the edge of the woods, the decision was made for him. The call came late at night. The voice on the line was clinical, flat, like it wasn't about his family. She'd collapsed on the stairs, they said. Heart failure, no struggle, no mess, peaceful. Only Elias didn't believe in peaceful endings, not in Greystone Hollow. As his car rumbled up the dirt road and the skeletal trees clawed at the sky above, memories flickered in the corners of his mind like old home videos. Laughter, whispers, screams, a girl's voice calling from beneath the floorboards, a man with no eyes standing at the edge of his bed. He shook it off. The house emerged like a wound in the forest, peeling white paint, shutters hanging limp like broken limbs. It was a two-story structure with a narrow attic window that had always unsettled him, like something watched from behind it, waiting. Elias killed the engine and stepped out into the cool dusk. Leaves crunched beneath his boots. The air smelled of rot and earth, and something else. Copper? He was the only living Hale left now. The bloodline ended with him. That was almost comforting. Unlocking the front door felt wrong, like opening a crypt. Inside, the air was stale, damp, still holding on to winter. Dust covered every surface in a soft gray veil, and the grandfather clock in the hallway had long stopped ticking. Time didn't move here. Not really. Elias paused at the foot of the stairs, where his mother had been found. He noticed something strange. The wall just above the fourth step had faint scratches on it, like someone had dragged their nails down in a final desperate attempt to hold on. He took a deep breath and whispered, "I'm not here for long." But the house didn't seem to believe him. Later that night, after unpacking the essentials and lighting a few candles, the power was unreliable. Elias found himself in his old bedroom. The furniture remained untouched. His childhood desk, the narrow bed, even the posters on the walls. Faded, peeling, but still clinging to the past like everything else in Greystone Hollow. He sat on the edge of the bed and pulled out his phone to check messages. One from an unknown number. "Don't go into the basement. It remembers you." He stared at it. No number. No reply option. The house creaked around him, like it was breathing. That night, Elias dreamed of fire, and of a voice, soft, trembling, whispering his name from the bottom of the stairs. Part 2. Whispers in the walls. Elias woke to the sound of something scratching. At first, he thought it was just a branch tapping against the window. But when he opened his eyes, he realized the sound wasn't coming from outside. It was coming from inside the wall. The old house creaked with the weight of night. Elias sat up slowly, every muscle tense, ears straining. The scratching came again, slow, deliberate, just behind the headboard, as if something was using fingernails to trace lines into the plaster. Then it stopped. A whisper followed, faint, like breath through a keyhole. "Elias!" He stood up so quickly the bed creaked in protest. The air in the room was suddenly too cold. His breath fogged in front of his face, though it was late spring. Grabbing the flashlight, he scanned the room. Nothing. No signs of rodents or loose boards, just the silence again. But now it felt loaded, like the house was listening. He didn't sleep the rest of the night. The next morning brought little comfort. The forest outside looked darker than usual, even with the sun filtering through the trees. Elias made coffee in silence, staring at the cellar door across the kitchen. A padlock held it shut, always had. Even as a kid, the basement was off limits. His mother said the boards were too old, the stairs too dangerous. But he remembered other things. Muffled noises at night. A smell like wet stone and iron. And once, when he was 6, he swore he saw someone peeking through the slats in the floorboards. Someone with eyes like broken glass. He told his mother. She slapped him, hard. Her first and only slap. Afterward, she locked the basement and never spoke of it again. And yet, here it was. Still locked. Still waiting. Around noon, Elias visited the village grocery. The town hadn't grown. If anything, it had shrunk. Fewer people, fewer voices, but everyone still remembered the Hale family. And everyone had questions in their eyes they didn't dare speak aloud. "Your mother wasn't the same the past few years," said the old woman at the register, avoiding his gaze. Kept saying she heard voices. Said she saw things. We all figured it was just the loneliness. Elias nodded politely, but his thoughts were churning. Back at the house, he stood in the hallway for nearly an hour, staring at the old family photos on the wall. Most were fading, black and white portraits of grim-faced relatives, but one caught his attention. It was newer. His mother, younger, holding hands with a man Elias didn't recognize. The man's face was mostly in shadow, but there was something wrong about it. Not in the way it looked, but in the way it felt. Like it didn't belong in the photo at all, like it had inserted itself there. He took the photo down. On the back was written, in his mother's uneven handwriting, "He comes when the voices grow loud." That night, the scratching returned. This time, it didn't stay in the walls. Elias was lying in bed, wide awake when he heard the sound of footsteps. Slow, dragging, as if someone were barefoot and unsure how to walk. The sound came from the hallway. He sat up, heart hammering, and reached for the flashlight. The footsteps stopped outside his door. Silence. Then, knock, knock. A soft, deliberate rapping. Not at the door, but at the wall behind his head. Knock, knock. He stood and pressed his ear to the wood. A whisper came through. "It's still down there. Don't remember it? We never stopped waiting." Elias backed away. He felt his legs trembling. Suddenly, a cold gust rushed through the room, extinguishing the candle on the nightstand. The flashlight flickered and died. In the pitch black, something moved. Not walked, not ran, moved. As if it melted out of the walls themselves. A shape, and two yellow eyes, gleaming just above the bed. The same eyes from the dream. From childhood. Frozen in place, Elias couldn't scream, couldn't breathe. Then the voice came again, this time a growl right in his ear. "You left me in the dark." Part 3. The locked door. Elias didn't remember running, but he woke up curled in the hallway, forehead against the floorboards, fingers scraped raw from clawing at the wallpaper. The bedroom door was wide open behind him. Cold light filtered in from the window. No footprints, no yellow eyes. But the wall? The wall was different. 4 words were carved into the old plaster, right where he'd heard the knocking the night before. "You brought it back." Not written, not drawn, etched. Deep enough that flakes of white dust littered the floor below. Elias stumbled to the kitchen, washed his face, and tried to calm his breathing. He hadn't sleepwalked in years, not since the night with the cellar. Except this didn't feel like sleepwalking. This felt like being led. He stood before the padlocked basement door by noon. He didn't know why it suddenly mattered so much. Maybe it was the dreams, maybe it was the whisper, or maybe it was the photo, the man with no name, the shadowed face, the memory just on the edge of focus. He found the key in his mother's desk, hidden behind an old Bible. The metal was cold and rusted, as if it hadn't been touched in decades. His fingers trembled as he slid it into the lock. It clicked open with a tired groan, like something exhaling after a long sleep. The basement door creaked open. A wave of cold, damp air hit him. The smell was overwhelming. Mildew, old wood, and something metallic, like blood. He clicked on his flashlight. The beam pierced the darkness, revealing a narrow wooden staircase, steep and warped. The shadows at the bottom were thick, almost alive. It felt less like he was going downstairs, and more like he was descending into a grave. Each step creaked, echoing in unnatural ways. The air grew colder with every foot. The walls narrowed. Time felt like it was slowing down. Then he reached the bottom. The basement was not how he remembered it. It was larger than it should have been. The stone walls curved inward slightly, as if the house had grown roots deep into the earth. Rusty tools hung from nails on the far wall. Saws, hooks, strange iron clamps. None of these belonged to his mother, but what truly froze him was the chair in the center of the room. It was old, wooden, reinforced with leather straps on the arms and legs. A restraint chair, and beside it a tape recorder. Not digital, analog. 1980s maybe. Elias stared at it for a long moment. Then, slowly, he pressed play. Tape begins. A man's voice, shaking. She won't stop screaming. I can't sleep. I told her it was temporary, that the voices would go away if she listened, but she won't listen. She just keeps saying his name. A long pause. He said he'd help me, said he could make the memories stop, said I'd forget the boy. But it's back. It's all back. Click. She saw the yellow eyes last night. Click. The tape stopped. Elias stumbled back from the recorder. He couldn't breathe. His vision blurred. The boy. They were talking about him. He remembered something then. Just a flicker. A door. Not the one leading upstairs. A second door. Hidden. Behind the tool racks. He found it. It was small, barely 5 feet tall, made of rotted oak. No handle, just a hollow where a key might once have been. His hand trembled as he reached forward, but before he could touch it, something knocked from the other side. Knock, knock, knock. Not human, not even close. It was rhythmic, hungry. He backed away, heart hammering in his chest, and then he saw it. Beneath the door, just a sliver of movement, a shadow, something waiting, listening. He fled the basement, bolting the door shut behind him, relocked it, threw the key into the woods. But that night, it knocked again. Only now, it was knocking from behind the bedroom wall. And the whisper had changed. "Let me in, Elias. You promised you wouldn't forget."